Pastor, last year, I recall reading an op-ed that you wrote where you basically touted the infrastructure plan from the Biden-Harris administration in the context of wanting to strengthen Detroit's super information highway, essentially, to provide better access to the digital divide and to lessen that. Should we interpret your allowance of Donald Trump and your sort of, I want to call it adulation, but support of him at least coming to your church as switching sides in terms of your political allegiance?
Well, I don't have a political allegiance. My allegiance is to Jesus. I don't worship a donkey. I don't worship an elephant. I worship the Lamb of God that was slain for the sins of the world. And anybody that can come to his house, be prayed over, they are more than welcome. Obviously, I'm excited about what our current president did as it pertains to the digital divide because he's helping our community. And I was so excited that President Trump actually physically came to 48227, a place where women are human trafficked right now as we speak, a place where our kids can't read, write, nor do math, a place that people are hurting. I was so excited to see the president there.
See, this is the pastor of Lorenzo Sewell of 180 Church in Detroit, where Trump had that round table and the media did those selective shots trying to make it seem like there were no black people there or maybe just a couple. Remember that? Yeah. The mainstream propaganda media, whatever you want to call it. I go back and forth between mainstream, but they're propaganda at this point. They're pushing an agenda. They're pushing an agenda, and they do not want us to know the truth. The media lies. And I'm getting this from Black conservative perspective. He is interviewing the actual pastor of that church. That's right. So, and he goes against the narrative that Joy Reid was pushing. Well, welcome back, warriors. It's me, Linda B. Thank you all so much for joining me here today. So, I'm grateful that you're here. And before we get back into the video, don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell on my way to 40,000 subscribers. Also, please visit childlightcandles.com and input the discount code LindaB to receive your discount. This is a Christian American veteran-owned company where 25% of the profits go to veterans and their families. Also, go to the link in the description. Go ahead and click on that and put the discount code. And these are the best candles, you guys. And it is for a good cause. Thanks so much. Now, let's get back into it.
What a nice welcome. Thank you.
The Detroit Free Press even ran a photo series online with the headline, "Trump Visits Detroit Church to Woo Black Voters." What they somehow forgot to show was how overwhelmingly white that crowd was, and also how many empty seats there were in that sanctuary. In fact, if you looked at the carefully selected images in their online story, you would probably guess the crowd inside that sanctuary was overwhelmingly black and pro-Trump, literally cheering for him and chanting his name. And you would be forgiven for believing that this reinforces what seems to be the new hot narrative, that it is black people, specifically black men, who are driving Trump back into the White House with their overwhelming and historically growing support. When the actual reality that you can see with your own eyes and know if you peel back the layers just a little bit, is that Trump spoke to an overwhelmingly white crowd inside a large Detroit church that, yes, does indeed have a black pastor.
She gets on my nerves so bad. She gets on my nerves so bad. I can't stand MSNBC because they're the ones with the selective, carefully selected photos, and we're going to show her up for being a liar.
But which merely served as a venue. And that the people who participated in the roundtable, like those in the audience at that church, were already Trump supporters, not some new historic black supporters of Trump. Where Trump held this town hall is called 180 Church. The pastor, Lorenzo Sewell, is a Detroit native who grew up in an abusive home, with his father going to prison when he was a teenager. His experience with the criminal justice system did not happen when he was already rich and famous. He became a drug dealer and gang member as a troubled kid, the way it tragically happens for so many Americans in communities with high rates of poverty. But he had a conversion experience his senior year in high school in 1999, according to his church bio, and later became a pastor. Here he is, claiming Biden and Obama never visited the hood.
President Trump, I'm so humbled that you would be here. President Obama never came to the hood, so to speak, right? President Joe Biden, he went to the big NAACP dinner, but he never came to the hood.
Again, I want to point out that this is from a fellow YouTuber, Black Conservative Perspective. He is interviewing the pastor of 180 Church in Detroit, Pastor Lorenzo Sewell, and he's going to clarify some things. Told you that propaganda media likes to lie, but we're clapping back this time. We're not standing for this, okay?
For an event to talk about politics and what Trump can do for the community of Detroit. Apparently, this is a controversial thing. This is a bad thing for a Black church to host a Republican and to actually talk with a Republican. And the 180 Church of Detroit has gotten a whole lot of backlash from the media for hosting Trump. So I decided that I would bring the pastor, Lorenzo Sewell, to talk about what actually happened at the church that day and how this all kind of came about, because he's receiving a lot of media criticism for essentially allowing Trump to speak to the Black community. So without further ado, I want to introduce Pastor Lorenzo Sewell, who is going to tell us kind of how they got Trump to come to this church in the first place.
I'm so grateful, man. So Hippopotamus, happy to be here with you, Greg. I mean, what you're doing, your audience, I am so blessed that a man that looks like you is opening the minds of Black people, specifically those who have had the stronghold of the Democratic Party on their minds for so long. Can you imagine 2 weeks ago, a kid born and raised on the east side of Detroit, mentored by murderers, student of the street, get a call from the Trump campaign that they want to come to the hood, right? I mean, you got the hood, and then you got the hood, right? You got like women walking around selling themselves. You got like people addicted, cross-addicted for generations, right? I mean, we give out $14.1 million of resources for the last 4 years in partnership with United Way, because we are in a context where kids can't read, write, do math. I mean, we haven't had a new home built in over 20 years in our. So for Donald Trump to call me, I thought it was a joke, right? I thought Ashton Kutcher was walking out like you're being punked type of thing. And they called, and that wasn't the part that resonated that they called, right? I understand it's a political season. The part that resonated is the campaign made it very clear that they wanted people from their community there. So the day that it got approved, which was that Monday, I taught the church about praying for our leaders on that Sunday, which I thank God for 180 Church. We are a praying church. After it got approved, Greg, the first thing I did was I went to city council. First thing I did, because I am the head of my clergy caucus. So I went to city council, told them that they would be coming, told them that they were invited, and we went to the methadone clinic, Greg, and we began to knock on doors and began to tell people that they would come. And the type of people we saw in the audience, the type of people that are in 48227, that have been living there, some of them for 40 years, they were so excited that the president came and had a conversation with them.
Yeah, I think that story is important because, again, the media here is trying to twist kind of what happened to try to say, well, it was staged. Okay, they try to say what happened when Trump held the Bronx rally. They try to say, well, that was staged, right? So-called people of color. There's no way they could actually show up for Trump, a Republican. And it's like, well, if you actually look at the video, you saw there was a lot of people there. It was diverse, right? And usually these individuals love diversity, except they don't really like diversity in the Black church when it comes to white people and also people from the community as well, too, coming together to basically try to hear the president of the United States, the former president of the United States, who's running for re-election. Now, again, the criticism is that there were white people in the church. Were those people from the community, or were they people who just kind of heard about it? They came from out of town. Like, what is your take? What is your response to people criticizing the church because it was too white?
You know, this is so interesting, right? You alluded to it. When it's diversity, inclusion, and equity, and when the people of God are gathering together in the church, even if you hate Trump for him to be in the church, the only person that wouldn't want him in the church is the devil. The only person that wouldn't want black and white gathering together is the devil. The white people that were there were volunteers. Then the press. So for all the pastors out there that have had a president in your church, you know what it takes, right? For all the people that have had a president gather together in your church, let me explain to you how it happens. The first group is the Secret Service. And there are a very small niche group that have already been clear, people like me and my wife and others that are able to be there. Then the media comes in. So what the media did was, after the Secret Service, after the volunteers, the media came in, Greg, and what did they do? They started taking pictures, right? It created a narrative that says what? There were only white people.
Yep.
Well, what about the rappers from Detroit that were there? What about people, black people that were physically there? Why didn't the media just walk up to them and ask them the same question that they're trying to portray? Why didn't they just walk up to them and say, what? Aren't you disappointed with there not being enough black people? They couldn't do that because there were a significant group. I would say about 60 to 70% of those that gathered there were not only from Detroit, but they were black.
Yeah.
Boom. Boom. That destroyed the lies of MSNBC. That's right, Joy Reid, your sister with your blonde hair. You just seem to be racist yourself. You racist. That's what you are. You got problems, honey. You need to get delivered. You need to get set free. You need to get saved. You need to learn to love Jesus. Give him your heart, girl, and everybody else watching. See, the media lies, and the pastor just clapped back and destroyed Joy Reid, destroyed that lie. Yes, he did. He said they got selected. Joy Reid herself said that the people for Trump got selective photos to try and make it look like a lot of black people were there. That's exactly what MSNBC were doing. The pastor, Lorenzo Sewell, just said that anyone who's had a president at the church, there's different things you have to do. There's a process. There's layers. There's the Secret Service, and then there's the media. And what he said after those mostly white part of the crowd came, that's when the media took pictures. That's when they took the pictures. They didn't take the pictures when everybody was there. And the pastor just said, and he's the pastor, and he was physically there. He said 60 to 70% of the people there were black and from the area and black. Boom. Caught you in another lie, Pinocchio. Joy Reid, your nose so long, girl, it's going to be out the doors of the MSNBC studios. Yeah, that's right. Oh, I love calling them out. She just lied. I'm telling you all, the propaganda media, when they show you something, or especially when it pertains to a Republican, particularly a MAGA Republican, and even more so when it's Donald Trump, believe the opposite of what they say. If they said this happened, that didn't happen. This happened. Okay? Truth, facts over feelings. It is the truth. I've caught them in too many lies. This is another lie. This is just the one of many lies. These are not the only lies. I don't have time in my life to spend on showing all the lies that the propaganda media spews out of their mouth on any given day. And something the pastor said, Pastor Sewell said, the only one that doesn't want black and white people to worship together is the devil. Remember that. It's not right that we have segregated churches. We should be together worshiping God. It's only one church. There's no black church, white church, this or that. Is the church. Okay? And we need to be bold about what we believe and stop being politically correct. All the stuff that the left pushes is destructive and sending people to hell. The alphabet stuff and that lifestyle, to hell. It's still the month of June and they got their flags and parades and all their little celebrations, probably getting discounts in restaurants. I don't even know. But that's stuff that's sending you to hell. To hell for sure. See Vince Everett Ellison. Oh, he'll tell you all about the Democrats, honey. Those demon rats. That's why I call them that. I got a reason for calling people names. Like cackling Kamala Harris, she just cackles.
Poor hubby.
No.
Jim Crow Joe, he was for segregation in the 80s and 90s crime bills, specifically the 94 crime bill. Obama Nation, he introduced it, all of this evil, under him. The Supreme Court passed the Marriage Equality Act, where people of the same sex can marry each other. And now it's gone even further down here and more depraved. Now we've gone from that And from people who are gay having pride parades closed, now they're having pride parades with the butt out and mimicking certain acts in the street. And now we've got drag queens in the schools. It's not going to stop. Satan doesn't know how to stop and say, ooh, that's too evil. It's going to continue. And as long as Christians are sitting on the sidelines and not getting in the game, you better get in the game. We have to get in the game. And we need to support each other and not be chicken. Somebody come after a fellow believer who's talking straight, I'm going to get onto him. Get off of her or get off of him. Yeah, I'm going to do it. And we need to be that way about each other. Stop being scared and acting like you're just shivering in your boots. Come on, y'all. It's a war, and we're the warriors on this channel. Remember that. And you guys, I'm going to ask you to do something for me. I need you to kindly, I respectfully ask you, those of you who watch me, please try to watch all my videos, even those that you may not be interested in watching. Like, comment, and share. And if you haven't already, please subscribe and hit the notification bell and share my videos and try to get 10 subscribers to my channel who will be loyal and watching and liking and commenting and sharing. And for them to get 10 people and for them to get 10, each of those 10 people to get 10. This is what I kindly ask of you. I'm encouraging you all to do that because we have to get the message out. And I'm just crazy enough to tell the truth. Isn't that something? I'm just crazy enough to just tell the truth. Isn't that something? Don't we need more of that? Well, thank you all so much for watching thus far. Again, I say like, comment, share, subscribe. If you haven't already, hit the notification bell. Also, you can email me at chatwithmeLindaB@gmail.com. And also, please visit childlightcandles.com. This is a Christian American veteran-owned company where 25% of their profits go to veterans and their families. You all be blessed. Love God, your families, these United States of America. And as I always say, march on, warriors.